All right, we're live in Los Angeles. This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Fox Sports Radio. Right here as well on FS1. Joy and I are matching. Coincidence and nothing more.
I mean, blue is kind of our,
our
part of our color
thing.
Set. Yeah. We got a lot of blue going on.
Sirius XM Channel 83 as well. By the way, Jeff Schwartz, one of my favorite guests in studio, former NFL offensive lineman, brother now starts for the Chiefs. He's got all sorts of stuff on Peyton Manning and the Jets, and that's percolating. If you thought the Game of Thrones, I'm not into sorcerers. I'm not into wizards.
There's not even that many sorcerers or wizards in Game of Thrones.
Man-wolves, she-dragons. I'm not into that stuff, but it ended last night. Apparently, it was terrible. It was terrible. And so I feel your pain. I feel your pain. And all you Game of Thrones folks who are just distraught this morning at the way the series ended, I'll give you a sports equivalent, and I know your pain. That's coming up. But first of all, over the weekend, and I think I speak for a lot of people, I was surprised and impressed with the Warriors with no KD and Boogie taking a 3-0 series lead over the Blazers. And it showed me once again that because of one player, how the league has changed so dramatically. If 15 years ago, I would have said this. So there's going to be this guy that comes into the NBA, right? He's going to essentially eliminate the center position. What is he, a wizard, a sorcerer? No, he's just a player. What do you mean eliminates it? There'll be no more back-to-the-baskets centers. Well, how? Well, I'll get to that in a second. He will change the math and geometry of the sport. I don't even understand what that means. What do you mean? Like a basket won't mean as much? Precisely. I'll get to that in a second. He will change college basketball and every gym in the country with every 13-year-old who now practices. And you'd be like, Game of Thrones, sorcerer, what is this? His name is Steph Curry. He's eliminated the back-to-the-basket center. He's made teams smaller as humans get bigger. He's changed the math of the sport. And oh, by the way, now, this is what basketball looks like at the college, high school, and AAU level. And I guarantee you by the beginning of next year, here's what you'll say. Yeah, Harden's better than Steph. Yeah, I'm more of a Westbrook guy. Really? I love Michael Jordan. Did he change the math? I love Magic Johnson. Did he eliminate centers? And by the way, if you want to see this meteor called Steph Curry, information over affirmation, he's on TV again tonight without the best player on the team, right? Are we sure KD's better than Steph? KD didn't eliminate centers. KD didn't change the math. KD didn't change gyms. Folks, we all know of the term called disruptors. Like the most famous is Uber's disrupted the taxi industry. For years and years, you get off an airport or you go somewhere in New York or LA or any city in America, you get taxi, and then Uber. Oh, just go on my phone. And now the idea of getting in a taxi for a lot of people is like, well, why? I can just do an Uber. They go where I want to go. It's a cleaner car, blah, blah, blah. We also know that Netflix has done this to television, been a disruptor. Amazon's done this for retail. We've talked about this before, right? They're disruptors. Could I make the argument? And I'm not counting Jackie Robinson with social ramifications. I'm just talking the actual game. Steph's the greatest disruptor, certainly in basketball, in sports history. I mean, Tom Brady didn't change the way football's played. I mean, Mike Trout's good and stuff. So was Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle. They didn't change the way the game was played. It is remarkable that Steph Curry, half of you would take Harden over him. Half of you would take Westbrook. Are we watching the same thing? Are we? Think about this. Dwight Howard. Now think about this. I can remember when Dwight Howard was 16 years old and I got a call from a guy named Brian Berger, worked at Nike. He said there's this kid, there's this center. Oh my God, he's going to change the game. Dwight Howard was your classic back to the basket. 22 points, 15 rebounds, shot blocker. Remember his shoulders? He didn't look like anybody else. And he's the taxi. And Steph was the Uber. It's not that Dwight Howard shrunk. He got less skilled. He was less talented. I mean, he had some surgeries, but he became the taxi, and Steph was the Uber. Andre Iguodala was saying it yesterday. He said, Curry and Draymond Green, they're Brady and Gronk. They're Brady and Gronk. It's sometimes difficult to wrap your brain around things that you've never seen before. It's very possible the best presidential candidate's this little guy who's a mayor in South Bend, Indiana. What? He's not a governor. He's not a titan. He's a mayor in South Bend. Well, guy got a standing ovation yesterday in a rival network, right? I know it doesn't make any sense, but this little kid from Davidson who looks like one of your brother's friends in the neighborhood, like he's kind of slight and he's kind of small. It's the most relevant, the most game-altering, revolutionary basketball player ever. I'm done hearing how everybody's better. Information over affirmation. He's on TV again tonight. Watch. And this is not a shot at Charles Barkley, who I think is pretty talented. But a week ago, Charles Barkley's a smart guy. Remember, and Charles Barkley's opinion a week ago, I think, was a mainstream opinion shared by almost everybody.
The Warriors ain't got no chance of winning without Kevin Durant.
This series?
This series or any other series. He made them a dynasty. Let's don't sleep on that. People say, well, they won one. They did. They was terrific. And they won 7-2. They lost that series. But that was like 5 years ago. People act like that was 2 years ago. They did not become a juggernaut until KD got there. Everybody who knows basketball, he's the guy who made them a dynasty.
By the way, I think that's mostly what everybody thinks. Tonight, on display, again, the best ball handler, the best shooter, the most revolutionary player, a tremendous leader, virtually egoless. I know it doesn't fit what you think the best player in the world should look like or the most important player, but Steph Curry's it. Let me shift gears to this. This is crazy, right? Crazy fun. Peyton Manning, according to a story this morning, rumors flying that the New York Jets are pursuing Peyton Manning. All right, let's establish a couple things. Peyton Manning is great. Peyton Manning is smart. Peyton Manning could run a company. And then let me establish this. I think it'd be a bad move. It's almost disrespectful now. People say this all the time. That guy is smart. She's really smart. Those people are smart. But are they experts? Do we understand how hard it is to be an expert at one thing? Michael Jordan was great at one thing. He tried the second, baseball. Then he tried a third, being a front office executive. Look at Magic Johnson's career. Talk show, coach, president. If you can just be great at one thing, good luck being great at two, because I almost don't think it's possible. I'm going to give you Chris Ballard's considered one of the best general managers, if not the best general manager in football. He's smart too, although he didn't play quarterback. He was an area scout. An area scout. Not a glamorous position, by the way. There's probably 6 living next to your house right now. He was an area scout for a decade. And then was given the director of player personnel. And then he was given the director of pro scouting. And then he was another footballer. And then all these years later, oh, he's a big shot. How about Les Snead of the LA Rams? Les Snead, grad assistant, pro scout, director of play. 18 years of grinding. Folks, John Elway went to Stanford. John Elway, like Peyton Manning, came from a football family. Go look up the Elway family's history. John Elway, one of the most cerebral quarterbacks of our time. You watching John Elway in Denver? Back-to-back losing seasons? That doesn't happen in Denver. By the way, Magic, Lakers, Michael Jordan, President Wizards, Phil Jackson, GM Knicks, John Lynch, San Francisco. Good, not special yet. It's almost like we're forgetting the rule. It's not about being smart. It's, are you smart enough and are you an expert at something? It's really, really hard. Peyton Manning's brilliant. But if you go look at the guys in this league, the Howie Roseman in Philadelphia, the Chris Ballards, the Les Sneads, you start looking around these guys, they were grinding in the weeds in towns you hope your car doesn't break down in for 15 years before they got the job. These jobs are hard. Here's what this feels like to me, is that Adam Gase and Peyton Manning are buddies. They're friends. They respect each other. The Jets are kind of falling apart. Gase runs the GM out. And it kind of feels like the owner of the Jets feels, listen, I'll pay him a bunch of money. I'll bring in Peyton Manning. And it will feel like optically, you know what? They always had this plan going on. This is perfect. This feels like a little bit of a Hail Mary. And by the way, that's not disrespectful to Peyton Manning because he's one of the smartest guys. But this feels like Le'Veon Bell could be leaving. GM gets fired. Oh, my Lord, nobody gets along. Oh, Peyton Manning's in. It's all good. No, Peyton Manning's in, and this was never the plan. This is not an opinion anti-Peyton Manning. He could succeed at a million things. Do we understand how hard it is to scout and to scour the country and to find talent at, Towson State? Half this league is undrafted. Does Peyton Manning want to go on scouting trips to Division II in rural Colorado to find the next great running back? I don't like the move. I don't. And you would think, I like Peyton Manning, he's smart, but I think we're getting to the point now, it is not a celebrity position. It is a grinder position. And I think it's hard when you find people with $200 to $300 million of net worth. I think it's a tough ask.
All right, Jeff Schwartz is around the corner. More on the Lakers Magic talk today about his former employer, the Lakers. Look, everybody wants to eat healthier, but it is harder to find the time. There's more options. There's more things to do. We're all rushed a little more. There's more responsibilities. And so we often grab junk, grab stuff we know is not great for us because it just fills our stomach.